advisor.
So, it's quite refreshing this actually. So me and Brian McFadden, he was in his massive boy band, I was in a massive girl band. We just got #1 with Whole again, and I left. I didn't want to do it. I got pregnant with Molly. I was only 20. I thought that's it. So I had Molly. And then I moved to Ireland. I gave my career up, gave it all up because I just wanted to be a wife, obviously, but I'm still married to a Westlifer. So it's like being married to what was the One Direction's, like
Harry Styles.
Like being married to Harry Styles or something like that. That's what it was like back then. In the early noughties. I mean, it was huge, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, our wedding was pathetic. I mean, I got a blessing off the Pope. And Mariah Carey sent us wedding pictures, like wedding frame pictures. What a lot of fucking good that did. Because Westlife performed for the Pope, a private thing. And obviously being Irish, Catholics, the parents, like, oh my God. So I went, but I didn't go to watch. I went to Pedro Pio's house. I was pregnant. And then the second man in command of the Pope was in the airport, not randomly. He was surrounded by all this press. And their tour manager, who's Irish, grabbed him and he blessed me belly. And then as we stood at the altar, he goes, and we've got a blessing from the Pope himself. Like I say, a lot of fucking good that did. That's why I'm not Catholic. But he had a stag do, Brian. See where this is going? So 4 months before we got married, he had a stag do. No, a month before. And 4 months after we were married, I was doing a TV show called Eliminate. I was in the Bahamas or Barbados filming. I had his mum with me, I had my mum with me, I had Molly with me. And my friend was flying out, we're flying to Vegas after I was doing this film I was doing. And as I rang, she went, are you all right? I was like, yeah, well, what's she goes, the papers. And Brian said, what? I said, let me go. That's all she said. I rang our Andrew up. And she went, I'm so sorry. I said, what's happened? And he slept with a girl and he paid her 15 grand, keep her mouth shut. I thought, fucking hell, I give him a blowjob, I only get a pair of new shoes. She gets 15 grand, do you know what I mean? And I was absolutely devastated. And the way he made it out to me was like I was one going crazy and he was denying it. Anyway, it came out and it was all true. But I was like, why did you make her sign something? You shouldn't have done that. And
so that was evidence of
it. Anyway, I got compassionate leave for 48 hours. So I flew from the Bahamas or Barbados, I think it was the Bahamas, to Manchester, got picked up by their tour manager because I was on tour, and drove to Newcastle. I was absolutely shattered to talk, and he was in concert, and Lou Walsh is going to me, whatever you do, Kerry, just don't hit him in the face because the Americans are here, we're trying to get this deal. Hit him in the fucking face, Louis! And you knew about this. And none of it, all the Westlife boys were dead scared. And it was so funny because we had, on the way down, I had a great laugh with Paul Higgins. He was also One Direction's tour manager. So Paul Higgins is a huge tour manager in the industry. And we're having a laugh down, and he was like, Kerry, just don't hit him or anything. I said, hit him. I said, wait till I get there. And as he checked me into my room, I shit you not, it was a baseball theme room. So I had all baseball bats all over. I mean, but even though I was heartbroken, we couldn't help but laugh because Brian's on stage at this point, still not seeing him. And I've walked in, it's like it was a baseball theme. It was like the hotel people knew what I was going to do. They were helping me. They were like, what a twat. You get him, Kerry. And for me, obviously he wanted to save the marriage, but I remember saying to him, I'm so laid back. I love girls screaming at you. It's a turn on when someone's successful like that. And it was so nice to see. And I never wanted to know where he was or anything like that. We spoke all the time on the phone. I said, I'm going to resent you because I'm going to want to know who you're with, who you're texting, where you got, and that's not me. And I'm going to hate, and that's basically what happened. And he just ruined it in the end. And then he met Delta Goodra.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just knew.
Do you know who she is?
She's Australia's sweetheart. She was in Neighbours. She's huge. She's absolutely dropped it. God, I mean, I'd leave me for her too. Honestly, when I met her, it was heartbreaking. There was a holding hands. I was devastated. I knew. I knew anyway. And that was that. But it wasn't meant to be because look, all these kids have got now.
Exactly.
So did you have a big conversation with him?
No, he rang me up and told me on the phone he wanted a divorce.
Oh, he couldn't even face you then?
No, I see, me and Brian would speak about 11 times a day on the phone, all the time, and I was filming a TV show in England called A Little Help for My Friends. Brian left Westlife, and when he was leaving, it was on Sky News, so they had a big press call. That's how big Westlife were. right? That I'm like crying. It was huge. Like people wanted. There were suicide lines, all kinds of shit. It's like when Robbie left Take That. That's how big. That's how big they were. It was ridiculous. You know, and I remember him saying, I'm leaving, I want to spend more time with my wife and my kids. We got pregnant with Lily. I was like, I don't even know what to be married to, let alone have another baby. But that's Lily you met, thank God I kept her.
Lovely.
Yeah, and he was leaving Westlife to spend more time with his family. As soon as the press call was over, he went straight to the studio to record his solo album. I never saw him really. And then, he was doing a duet with Delta on it. And they always still deny it was an affair, but everyone knew, we all knew.
How did you regroup from that?
I just took loads of drugs. Honestly, I think I came back over to England, and Brian was my knight in shining armour. So I was still living in my mum had a 1-bedroom council flat, rough as fuck. I'm not like heroin addicts, it was really rough where I lived, all the way through Atomic Kitten. I could literally sleep in bed with my mum. Because I had nowhere. And when I met Brian, I got pregnant. That was it. I was moving to Ireland, so I bought my mum a terrace house. So he was my knight in shining armour. He got me away from my mum, and I love my mum. I love my mum to bits. Got me away from my mum, got me away from all the drugs, and that was it. But then when I had to come back, you lie down with dogs, especially dirty ones. What you're gonna get? Fleas.
Exactly.
That's what you're going to get. And so rather than, and I'll never forget being in my mum's, and the amount of paparazzi was outside my mum's house on, like, it's like a Coronation Street. You know what the house is like not round here, but in Warrington, that's what it was like. And I just remember going, and everyone was like, oh my God, I can't handle this. And I was like, you all right? So no one's like going, Kerry, are you all right? And rather than grieving, it was Coke. Just Coke numbed me.
So is that the pattern throughout your life? Whenever that goal of having that ideal family is shattered, fall back on drugs?
No, I've not touched drugs in 13 years.
Brilliant.
Yeah, well done. So it was Brian. It wasn't Brian's fault by no means. The situation, it was how I handled it, and the people you surround yourself with. That is how it happens.
Yeah.
1 minute I was a teenager with a head full of hurt. Next minute I'm 20 and I'm this. It's too late for me to use this product to get my hair back, but there's hope for you. Our sponsor, Manual's treatments are clinically proven, research backed, and use the only medically approved treatments in the UK.
So Manual can help stop hair loss today and improve hair growth.
Manual is trusted by over 100,000 customers, all men.
So 9 out of 10 men see positive results. And they have a 180-day money-back guarantee, so it's risk-free.
Check out these before and after pictures. 2 out of 3 men will experience male pattern baldness by the age of 35. It got me at 20. For 50% off your first order, use the discount code SHAUN5010, SHAUN 5010. It will also give you 10% off your second order. Delivered to your door, no need to visit a doctor, just enter your details online. Thank you for supporting our sponsor. Link will be in the description box on the YouTube version.
I've never been addicted. Walking away from cocaine was very easy. Giving up cigarettes was fucking hard.
I haven't got that far yet.
I've given them up like nearly 3 years now for me, just like that. But for me, it was, and then I met Mark Croft, who was my mum's drug dealer.
So you met him, that was after Brian, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'll never forget, the night before Mark proposed, I remember ringing Brian, crying my eyes out, going, please take me back, please, I love you so much, let's work it out.
So you must have knew this was a big mistake coming.
No, it wasn't nothing to do with Mark, it was like, I was still madly in love with Brian. And I was like, please, and he was like, no, I love Delta, that's it. And the next day, Mark turned up and proposed, I just went, yeah.
How long was that after?
It was the day after.
No, but how long are you
6 weeks.
So 3 weeks first one, 6 weeks.
Second one, 3 months. It gets longer and longer and longer. Then Ryan took 2 years, so I must be getting worse in bed. So it's an age thing, I think.
Never.
I'm joking. I've changed as a person. I've changed. I mean, I have I don't want no more kids. Even like, I love Ryan. I'll be with Ryan till the day I die, but I don't put him out in the industry. I don't throw him out as I did with the others. I was always trying to prove, I've got this happy family, I've got this, I've got that. It was all bullshit. Like when Mark proposed, it was like I couldn't believe, I felt a failure as a wife, as a mother, and as a woman. And because Brian was rejecting me, it was like the rejection from a kid. I couldn't, and then when I met Mark, it was like, I just need to fix it. I need to be married again. I need that'll fix it all. I'll have another baby. I'll try it all again. And I did it again with George. And that has been the pattern, but I know that now. You know, it's different this time.
So with Mark, he wasn't in the public eye. What was it? How did it differ from going Brian public eye, Mark someone who's just a civilian?
Honestly, I thought Mark was punching, and I thought he will love me so much because what I can provide for him, he'll never cheat on me like Brian did. That's honest to God what. But Mark made me laugh. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not going to say I didn't love him. I mean, it was like Mark should have just been a one night fucking stand. That's all it should have been with Mark. Do you know what I mean? But I got Max and Heidi, and I'm totally grateful. I don't even look at Mark as one of my husbands. I don't. It's really weird. What it is with me, because of who I am, and when I met Mark, it was the same with George. I give him my power, and they can't take it away and take all my independence away from me, that I then become so reliant on them. But I've realised that, like, it's different with me and Ryan now. It's like, I don't need Ryan, but I want him. Does that make sense?
That's nice.
It's like, I'm all right on my own, but I love him, but I'm not relying on him to make me happy. No, but it was like, I always wanted somebody else to make me happy. I have to make me happy. I can't rely on anybody else for that. It has to be down to me. And that was a pattern that I kept doing. It took me to the age of 36, so when I broke up with George, to realise all this.
Because how long were you with Mark for in total?
5 years.
5 years.
Brian 7.
Brian 7.
Mark 5. George 6.
George 6. So what was life like with Mark? Obviously you had Heidi and Max.
Just Heidi and Max. It was horrible. It was just, I can't even talk about him because it makes me feel sick.
Okay.
It makes me feel like, oh my God, that was my worst time of my life ever. And George beat shit out of me. But I will put at Mark as...
He was there.
It was bankruptcy. I was on medication. I was on that much medication, I couldn't even tie a fucking shoelace in the morning. And every time I go back into St Priory, everyone's thinking it was drugs. It wasn't. It was trial and error with the right medication for me. Like my speech would be slur. I went on this morning. I was ridiculed, and it was like, oh my God. I'll admit I shoved enough shit up my nose. It was pure bipolar medication.
They shouldn't have let you on this morning.
But there was nothing, when you say that annoys me, because there was nothing wrong with me. It was just a side effect from my medication. That's all that was. My speech was slur. I didn't speak to anybody before I went on. And in my head, I was fine. And I was fine. It was just a side effect. Say you get a stomachache from, or you get the shits, or you get headaches from taking... Mine was... Because my dose was so high, it made your speech slur. In fact, I had a drug test, I had an alcoholic test, just to prove to everybody that's what it was. I even went for speech therapy, and she said, you've got a lazy tongue. I said, well, I'll make a shit lesbian then. But honestly, I went to all those lengths to say, look, I've got no reason to lie, but I was absolutely ridiculed. You need to stop smoking, young lady.
Oh, I know.
I was exactly the same. And the reason why I stopped, my mum smokes Rollies, right? And I go, she doesn't anymore. She quit after a heart attack. Now she's on a vape. And I go around mum's and she coughs. I think, oh my God, I just don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that. And I was on Super King and menthol.
Ooh.
Big fuck off cigarettes.
They're like snooker cues.
From the age of 14. And I got up, it was New Year's 2020. I had one left in my packet. I went to the back garden, because that's how classy I am. I smoked it, flicked it, I went, I'm done. I've not touched one since. Not even a puff of one.
Wow.
3 years in January. Just stopped like that. I feel like a superhero. I really, really do.
Yeah.
To have, because it's like a little hijacker in your head, isn't it? Because for me, smoking was like, if you're having a photo shoot, I'm just going outside for a cigarette. Oh, I need a break. Or if I'm cleaning, I'll go for a cigarette for a break. You know, and especially if you had something to eat. Yeah.
Straight after.
Yeah, but no, just stopped. Same with coke. It wasn't. It was just the people you're hanging out with, and that's why I moved down south for 12 years. I just fucked off and left it all behind.
What did you learn about yourself in Arizona?
I'm a fuck up. What I learned about myself, I'm resilient. I am very resilient, and it's not my fault. A lot of circumstances. My childhood wasn't my fault. You take a lot of blame. I think I know I'm resilient. I know I'm strong. And I know I'm a good person. And I know I'm a fucking awesome mum. And I broke the cycle. Fucking hope so, anyway.
Whose idea was it to go to Arizona?
My managements at the time. So I was with the same management as Ant and Dec. I was with James Grant, and I'll never forget, I was in the Priory because I was such a high profile case. I couldn't have group therapy because the Priory couldn't promise me that another patient wouldn't go and sell that's how, I mean, I was on the front cover of the newspapers. What was it like, Jen?
Manic.
It was ridiculous. It was really, really bad. So they couldn't promise me that there's like perhaps out the Priory and everything. So they shipped me off to America, and I remember being in first class. The stewardess came and she said, "What would you like?" I said, "Can I have a bottle of champagne, please?" "You going anywhere nice?" I went, "Yeah, rehab." And got off the plane like that, looking out. Yeah.
What was it like going in there? The conditions and everything inside?
I remember being absolutely heartbroken. I couldn't believe, because in my eyes, I always thought people go to rehab are like, I'm sorry to say, dirty little smackheads. That's what I had in my head. That's what I thought that was all about. So the first 4 days, I'd done that much drugs. I was still and drink. I was the DTs, and I was so heartbroken. I felt so ashamed on my children. I just thought, how have I got here? My kids are so young, they haven't got a clue. My kids have never witnessed anything. I sat my kids down and told them that Mummy's done this, Mummy's done that. There's a show coming out. You're going to see it all. I've been open and honest with all my kids. Even if I talk about, I'm so open about it in front of my 8-year-old. I'd rather them all know, because they're going to hear it off somebody else. And I remember crying so much and just thinking, I can't believe I've got here. And I've got 6 weeks to go, and I couldn't wait to get out. And then when it gets to the end, you don't want to go home. I thought, I'm scared about going home. I don't, because you're in a safe environment, and I knew my mum was my problem. Like, my mum would ring up and she'd be off her head. But I'm in rehab, and leave it. It's a safe environment, and then when you go to leave, it's like, shit, how do I deal with the outside world now?
What was the routine in there?
It was co-ed as well, so it shocked me. I didn't realise how much money is in rehab. There was a judge in there. There's lawyers in there. There's so well-to-do, and I was blown away. I thought, fucking hell, I felt like the little scumbag. It was like sex addicts, gambling. There was stuff I didn't even know, codependency. I mean, it was like being in high school and going from one lesson to another lesson to another lesson. That was what it was like, and I loved it. And I'd go back tomorrow, No, see, people think going to rehab is all about drugs, and it really isn't. It really, really isn't. There's so many. I mean, I'd go back there now just to reconnect with myself on a spiritual level. It's bigger than that. It really is, and I think the stigma around that, around rehabilitation centres, is wrong.
Yes.
And that's why I go do speeches in there and do talks and stuff, because I think it's amazing. I learned so much more about myself than just about the drugs. Do you know what I mean? For me, it wasn't the drugs. It was more of what was going on in my head.
Did you make friends with people in there?
Yeah, loads. There's loads of people in there. They're all great. And what I learned a lot, I was so embarrassed about my situation. Like, you don't ever want to talk about it. But then when I started doing group therapy, that's where I flourished, and that's where I got the most help from. Because hearing other people's stories makes you feel like you're not on your own, and that's why I'm so open and honest, and I'll talk about anything and everything, because there was nobody in the industry at the time talking about all that kind of stuff. So I had to get through it on my own. So I like to think that I'd like to be some kind of beacon of hope for other people, that if car crash, kebab eating, KERRY KATONA can get through it, anybody can.
When you got out, how hard was it to maintain discipline?
Really fucking hard.
What was the first
Because
temptation?
you're straight back where you left off. That's why I had to move and leave. I mean, I only moved back here in June, and I'm a different person, and I've struggled, not with the drugs, I've struggled with PTSD, like my anxiety since I've moved back up. So I had to eventually move. Like, when I first came out, it was really difficult, like mates wanting to go out, we went karaoke and I'm drinking fucking herbal tea. It was really, really difficult. 6 weeks I lasted.
And was there a lot of peer pressure?
Only from my mum. Like I say, 6 weeks clean, and my mum just went, I've ordered one of them. And Mark Croft walked in back, because he was a taxi driver and used to sell his drugs from his taxi. And that's how I met Mark Croft. And that's how I got 2 amazing kids.
Positive.
Got to look at the other side.
What was it that made you kick it all completely?
Boot camp for me. It was a boot. I had an affair behind Mark, best thing ever did. It really was. I'm the most loyal person in the world. Like, Mark was cheating left, right and centre. There was videos of him with his hands down girls' knickers. Why I'm filming the Iceland adverts. No one would let me see the newspaper. I had to do a 16-hour day of going, that's why mums go to Iceland. Prawn ring, £1. Knowing that this story was all in the papers, all on front page. There was nothing I could do. And I ended up going into bankruptcy. Mark had me off, and my accountant stole my money. So I was a millionaire. I had Porsches, Lamborghinis, Aston Martin. I was minted. My kids in private school. I had a tax bill for 82 grand.